MU signaling lamps, signaling relays and switches. LS group. The red lamp provided on the ceiling of both driving cabs. This lamp indicates the existence of a defect in the loco in which it glows. LS group glows along other signaling lamp, that is LSDJ, LSCHPA, LSB and LSRSI, to indicate the defective equipment. If both locos are defective, LS group glows in both locos along with the other signaling lamps. During troubleshooting, it is very important to identify the defective loco. To identify the defective loco, you have to go and check the LS group lamp. Note: when MPJ is brought to 0, LS group will glow.
When troubleshooting in MU locos, don't bring MPJ to 0.
LS group glows only in defective loco. Next lamp, LSOL. The orange lamp provided on the driving desk of both cabs. The lamp will glow in the loco to indicate the defective is in other loco. The LSOL lamp will glow in the good loco, healthy loco. It indicates that the other loco is having some defect. LSOL glows along with the other signaling lamp, that is LSDJ, LSCHBA, LSB and LSRS, to indicate the other loco defective equipment. If both locos are healthy, LSOL will be in extinguished condition in both locos. Always remember, LSOL glows in healthy loco only. QVLSOL, relay for recapitulation lamp. So when there is any abnormality in leading or trailing loco, this relay will energize in that loco, pick up and make the lamp LSOL to glow in healthy loco. This is signaling lamp control circuit for LS group relay QV LSOL and signaling lamp LSOL of leading loco and trailing loco. In this circuit, we will see how the LS group lamp and LSOL lamp glows. Signaling lamp controlling fuse is CCLS. Here the two locos are there, leading loco and trailing loco. Battery supply or 110 volts DC supply will come through CCLS through BL to the interlocks of QV60, 61, 63, QV64 and QCon. In this QV60 related to LSDJ, QV61 related to LSCHBA, QV63 related to LSRSI, QV64 related to LSB lamp and QCon is related to SIV locos. So whenever LSIV picks up, this QCon will energize. So in normal working condition, so when you are going normally on notches in leading loco, LS group lamp remains in extinguished condition. LS group lamp remains in extinguished condition. Say for example, in our leading loco, telltale fuse is projected out. Whenever telltale fuse is projected out, micro switch comes into the service and it closes the contact to energize the relay QV63. So whenever relay QV63 is energizing, lamp LSRSI will glow. Along with the LSRSI glowing, in leading loco you can observe the glowing of LS group also. In leading loco, LSRSI will glow and LS group lamp also glows. Similarly, whenever the supply is coming to the LS group, at the same time, the same supply will go to the relay QV LSOL also. So now QV LSOL also energized along with the LS group lamp. Whenever LS group getting the supply, at the same time QV LSOL also getting the supply. Whenever QV LSOL is energized on LSOL branch, one normally open interlock is provided and one normally closed interlock also provided. So whenever this relay is energized, its NO interlock gets closed and NC interlock gets opened. After the NO interlock, there is a connection through BCD couplers to the rear loco. So the supply which is coming from CCLS will now pass through QV LSOL NO interlock, which already is in closed condition, to the trailing loco through BCD couplers. So at trailing loco, QV LSOL is in de-energized condition. Whenever it is in de-energized condition, its NC interlock remains in closed condition. It means in trailing loco, now LSOL lamp glows. So in leading loco, whenever LSRSI is glowing, in leading loco, LSRSI is glowing with the LS group lamp, whereas in trailing loco, LSOL is glowing. Whenever you are going in the leading loco, if LS group lamp is glowing, it indicates that the trouble is in your loco. If in your loco LS oil is glowing, it indicates that trouble is in the trailing loco. Next, relay Q49. This relay is called as synchronizing device relay, which synchronizes the tap changer operation in both leading and trailing locos during traction and braking of MU operation. After taking first notch only, Q49 will come into service. During progression or regression with the MP or with EEC during progression only, Q49 will be active. Q49 will ensure progression or regression at a time in both the locos. And always remember that Q49 will not ensure the difference of notches if any due to auto regression. If in any loco GR stucks up during progression or regression, at that time only Q49 energizes permanently in that loco. If any loco GR stuck up, at that time Q49 energizes permanently in that loco, and feed goes to the healthy loco and makes Q52 permanently energized and stops the progression or regression in both the locos. It means that normally Q49 is energized, and it will de-energize whenever Q52 is energized. Normally, feed from CCLS and BL goes to trailing loco through BCD couplers. So the same CCLS feed goes to the Q49 in both the locos. So Q49 will energize in both the locos through Q52 NC interlock, QV62 NC interlock. ZSMGR closes on 6 o'clock position. Normally, Q52 remains in de-energized condition. So if your GR other than 0, then relay QV62 remains in de-energized condition. In that condition, QV62 NC interlock closes, so the supply will come to the Q49, provided your ZSMGR should be on 6 o'clock position. In the same way, in both the locos, Q49 remains in energized condition. When Q49 will de-energize? So Q49 will de-energize when your GR is on 0, or when you are moving the GR, that is either in progression or in regression. That is, whenever you are taking one notch progression with the help of MP, then Q52 will energize. Whenever Q52 is energizing, in that condition on Q49, Q52 NC interlock gets opened, so that path to Q49 gets open circuited. In that condition, Q49 relay de-energizes. In each loco, Q49's NO interlock is provided. This NO interlock will give the supply from CCLS to Q52. When we are taking the notches, that is, whenever we are progressing our GR with the help of MP, we have to keep the MP either on plus, or for regression we will keep the MP on minus. While doing so, whenever GR travels from full notch to full notch, in between ASMGR closes, in between notch interlock will close on Q52 branch, and your Q52 will energize. Once Q52 is energized through its self NO interlock, Q52 remains in energized condition until if you keep the MP on plus or minus position. So whenever MP is kept on plus position, whenever your Q52 is energized, in that condition relay Q49 gets de-energized. On Q49, Q52 NC interlock is provided, and NC interlock whenever opens, Q49 gets de-energized. Whenever Q49 de-energizing, its NO interlock opens. Similarly, the MP feed through BCD couplers will go to the trailing loco Q52. In trailing loco, GR is rotating, ASMGR closes in between notch interlock will close. With that, trailing loco Q52 will also energize. So whenever Q52 of trailing loco is energizing, its NO interlock gets closed on its branch, and Q52 remains in energized condition until you keep the MP on plus condition, very similar to leading loco. In this condition, trailing loco Q52 when energizes, its NC interlock gets opened on Q49. In that condition, trailing loco Q49 relay de-energizes, and its normally open interlock opens. Whenever this Q49 interlock gets opened on leading loco and trailing loco, the supply from CCLS will not go to the 52 of leading and trailing locos. Due to any reason, if your Q52 is not energized, that is, if your GR is not rotating, in that condition, this Q49 relay remains in energized condition. Let us assume that in trailing loco, GR having some trouble, and GR stuck in that loco. In such condition, what will happen? Let us see. So in that condition, if you take the notch leading loco Q52 will energize in between notch and remains in energized condition. But in trailing loco, supply will go from leading loco MP, but in trailing loco, the ASMGR closes in between notch interlock will not close due to trailing loco GR is not rotating. In that condition, in trailing loco Q52 remains in de-energized condition. Whenever trailing loco's Q52 remains in de-energized condition, as I already told you that trailing loco Q49 continuously remains in energized condition. Whenever Q49 of trailing loco continuously remains in energized condition, whenever Q49 remains in trailing loco energized condition, its NO interlock continuously remains in closed condition. Whenever Q49 NO continuously remains in closed condition in trailing loco, the feed is now transferred to leading loco's Q52. So even after you releasing the MP from plus to N position, Q52 will not de-energize. If leading loco Q52 is not de-energizing, if it is remains in energized condition, then its interlocks NC interlocks on VE1 and VE2 gets open condition. If VE1 and VE2 are not energizing, then you will experience the TLTE. So it means that Q49 here synchronizing the both the locos. That's why this relay is called synchronizing relay. So whenever leading loco getting one notch progression or regression, in that condition if trailing loco or other loco, so GR is not progressing due to any reason, then Q49 senses it and it causes energizing the Q52 of other loco continuously. Whenever Q52 of other loco, healthy loco remains in energized condition, in healthy loco you will experience the
No further progression or regression.
in that condition, if you keep the MP and 0 in healthy loco, trailing loco GR remains in stuck condition, that is in full notch, then trailing loco Q46 will energize. Whenever Q46 is energizing, then DJ will trip in trailing loco, that is in which loco GR is stuck up, in that loco DJ will trip. What about other healthy loco? In healthy loco, Q46 whenever is energizing, its NC gets opened on Q52. Whenever Q52 is de-energizing, you will get the auto regression. In leading loco or in healthy loco, after keeping MP on 0 position, GR will come to the 0. In trailing loco or defective loco, after keeping MP on 0 position, DJ will trip. This is all about a synchronizing relay, that is Q49. BLSN, Neutral section switch. This BLSN switch is to open DJ and lower pantograph of trailing loco from leading loco. While passing through neutral section, first LP has to put BLSN down to open DJ and to lower pantograph of trailing loco. Whenever DJ is tripped in trailing loco, observe the glowing of lamp LSDJ, LSCHB, LSB,
LS foil.
and LSGRO in leading loco. To open DJ in leading loco, switch off BLDJ. Note: normal position of BLSN during MU operation is upwards. At neutral sections, BLSN to be put downward position to trip DJ into lower panto in trailing loco. Use 2 or 3 compressors on leading loco and 1 on each trailing loco with normal load under normal conditions. LSGRO signaling lamp. This lamp is provided above LP desk in modified locos to indicate the LSGR of other loco. This lamp glows in leading loco when trailing loco GR is on 0 and vice versa. Procedure to locate defective loco in MU. This is very important in regarding troubleshooting in particular loco. So when DJ trips in leading or trailing loco, certain fault occurs. It can be detected by LS group lamp and LS foil lamp. In defective loco, LS group glows and LS foil remains in extinguished condition. Along with this LS group lamp, defective equipment lamp also glows. That is LSDJ or LSCHB or LSRSI or LSB. In healthy loco, LS foil glows and LS group remains in extinguished condition. Along with the LSOL, defective equipment lamp, that is LSDJ or LSCHBA, LSRSI or LSB will glow. To summarize these 2 points, simply when we are going in, when you are working with multiple unit and due to any reason, if any defect comes, any certain fault occurs, in such condition, in your leading loco, in your working loco, if LS group is glowing along with these any one of the 4 lamps or along with the LSDJ, LSCHB, LSB, then you can conclude that the tripping or fault came in your loco only. If any one of these 4 lamps is glowing along with the LS foil, then it indicates that the fault is in the other loco. It is very simple. Therefore, on seeing LS group along with the other pilot lamps, that is what we mentioned, we can locate the defective loco. If LS group is glowing in leading loco, then leading loco is defective. And if LS foil glows in leading loco, then it means that defect is in trailing loco. So at crew changing point, it is very important for a loco pilot and assistant loco pilot to ensure that LS group is in working condition. LS group glows under following circumstances in the locomotive: when DJ trips, CHB is defective, when telltale fuse is projected in RSI block, when Q50 is de-energized, or if SIV is provided during SIV tripping. The above defects can be rectified or troubleshooted in the concerned loco. In case of loco trouble in leading loco or trailing loco, the loco pilot should first try to clear section with the healthy loco and then do the troubleshooting of the defective loco. Switch ZLS. Switch ZLS is provided in switch panel. When ZLS switch is in off condition, all the pilot lamps will extinguish in that loco. Signaling lamps will not glow in that loco. So this switch should be kept in off position in healthy loco while troubleshooting in the defective loco, like to pick any abnormal sign. In such condition, if ZLS is provided, then that switch should be kept in off condition in healthy loco. Let us assume both locos are energized. In case of both locos are energized, then all the signaling lamps will indicate normally as in single loco. If leading loco is energized and trailing loco is in de-energized condition, then trailing loco DJ is in open condition. Hence in trailing loco, LS DJ, LS CHPA, LSB will glow along with the LS group lamp. Whereas in leading loco, the same all three pilot lamps will glow in the leading loco, that is LS DJ, LS CHPA, LSB and LS foil glows. Whenever LS foil going in the leading loco, it indicates that the DJ which is tripped is in the trailing loco. Next, leading loco is in de-energized condition and trailing loco is in energized condition. In such case, when the leading loco de-energized means leading loco DJ is in open condition. Whenever leading loco DJ is opened, in leading loco, LS DJ, LS CHPA, LSB will glow. Along with that, defective loco is leading loco, hence in leading loco, LS group lamp will glow. Whereas in case of trailing loco, all the three lamps, that is LS DJ, LS CHBA, LSB will glow. Along with that, LS OS also glows. If both locos are de-energized, both locos DJ tripped, then in both locos, all the three lamps with LSGR, that is LSDJ, LS CHBA, LSB and LSGR will glow along with the LS group lamp. Whenever LS group lamp is glowing, it indicates that the defect is in particular loco. At the same time, here we are saying that both locos DJ tripped. It means that in trailing loco also all the pilot lamps will glow, that is LS DJ, LS CHP, LSGR, LSB will glow. But trailing loco DJ also in open condition, hence trailing loco LSGR will also glows. Next, CHP failed in leading loco. Whenever CHP is failed, LSCHP will glow. So it means that LSCHP will glow in the both the locos. LSCHP will glow in the both the locos, but the defective loco is leading loco. Hence, in leading loco, LS group will glow. Similarly, in trailing loco, which is healthy loco, hence LSCHP will glow. Along with that LSCHPA, LS oil also glows. If CHBA failed in trailing loco, it means that in leading loco, LSCHBA will glow, and along with that LSCHBA, LS oil glows. In trailing loco, along with the LSCHBA, LS group lamp glows. Similarly, for reversers, LSB and for projection of telltale fuse, LSRSI will also glows in the same way. It means that in defective loco, LS group will glow along with that particular lamp, and in healthy loco, with that particular lamp, LS oil will glow. Whenever wheel slip takes place in leading loco, so whenever wheel slip is taking place, so wheel slip indications are three items, that is LSP glowing and auto regression of notches GR and auto sanding also takes place. Both the actions will come in the both the locos. Similarly, whenever wheel slip is taking place in trailing loco also, same actions will take place in both the locos. The following are having MU electrical connections from one loco to another loco through BCD couplers, that is ZPT all positions, all signaling relays, all top row BL switches, MPJ all positions, MP all positions, ZQWC, BPQWC, MPS all positions, BPP, BPR and BPT push button switches, PVF, PSA and BPSW. MU locos cap changing procedure. Driving cap, leading loco. Close BL CPD and build up maximum pressure. Keep A9 in release position and SA9 in application position. Ensure brake cylinder pressure is showing 3.5 kg per cm square and all brake cylinder pistons are projected out. Don't change any pneumatic cutout cocks or any pneumatic valves in the particular loco. If required, apply handbrake or keep wooden wedges towards the falling gradient. Open DJ, ensure LSDJ is glowing. Lower pantograph and ensure both pantographs are lowered completely. Keep MPJ to 0, lock BL and remove all the 3 keys. Proceed to another loco. In another loco, which was trailing, now becoming the leading loco. Keep SA9 handle in application position and keep A9 in release position. Open A9 inlet outlet cocks, SA9 supply apply cocks. Keep ME to be in lead position. Open A8 cock, unlock BL box and raise the panto. Whenever you are keeping ZPT on one position, both pantos will rise. Now close DJ as per procedure and close BLCP. Now proceed to rear loco. In rear loco, change MU to be to trial position. Close A8 cock and close A9 inlet and outlet cocks, SN9's supply and apply cocks. Close the cab doors and windows, and also if required switch on the red marker light. Then return to leading loco, check the working of the leading locos A9 and SN9. Release handbrake or remove wooden wedges if any provided. Before moving loco, conduct the loco brake power test and loco brake feel test. So what are the conditions of the various cocks and valves in MU cab changing procedure in leading loco and trailing loco? A9 inlet and outlet cocks in leading loco working cab, they should be in open. Remaining all cabs, that is in leading loco non-working cab and trailing loco both cabs, it should be in closed condition. SN9 supply and apply cocks in leading loco working cab, these should be in open condition. In non-working cab and trailing loco both cabs, these cocks should be in closed condition. MU2B in leading loco, MU2B should be in lead position. In trailing loco, MU2B should be in trail position or dead position. A8 cock in leading loco, A8 should be in open condition. In trailing loco, A8 should be in closed position. Always remember that A8 should be open only in the leading loco. Whether you are working a multiple unit or whether you are working a double head, whether you are working a banker loco or when you are working as a long haul operation, in all the cases A8 should be open in leading only. Procedure of passing nodal section with MU at 500 meter warning board. Ensure your MR pressure. If MR pressure is low, close BLCPD and build up maximum pressure. So try to accelerate the train speed when you are approaching the 500 meter warning board. Keep in view that whether any caution order is in force or whatever the maximum speed imposed at that particular section. At 250 meter warning board, bring MP to 0 and ensure GR has come to 0 by seeing LSGRO and also ensure LSGRO. Close BLSN switch. Observe LSDJ, LSCHP, LSB lamps close in leading loco, but EMmeter needle deviates, it will not come to 0 and panto of trailing loco lowers. Signaling lamp LSOL glows in the leading loco's LP desk. At DJ open board, open BLDJ 1 mast before DJ open board and ensure DJ of leading loco is stripped by watching the UA needle which comes to 0. If UA meter not comes to 0, it indicates that DJ is not opened. In that condition, immediately lower the panto by keeping ZPT on 0 position. After tripping of DJ in leading loco, ensure LS group lamp glows. Whenever LS group lamp glows in leading loco, LSOL lamp extinguishes in the cab. At DJ close board, when you are running at normal speed, at DJ close board, open BLSN up position. After keeping BLSN up, trailing loco's panto will rise. After passing 1 mast distance from the DJ close board, that is approximately after 10 seconds, after ensuring that trailing loco panto is in raised condition, now close the DJ as in single loco, making one of the MU loco as dead. Whichever loco is to be made dead, open DJ of that loco and keep HBA switch on 0 position if CCMUBA is not available. In dead loco, put ZLS on 0 position and close the IP cock. Even after doing so, if trouble is persists, then remove the jumper cables between these two locos and secure them properly on clamps. If still unsuccessful, make lead loco as trail loco and change trail loco as working loco after marshalling. If trailing loco failed, do not change positions of any cock in lead loco and work onwards if load and road permits. That is, with single loco you can work. If leading loco is failed, If leading loco is failed, clear the block section with the trailing loco's tractive force and contact TLC. In this condition, in leading loco, CHB ammeters will not work. So we will discuss this in the later topics in detail. In case leading loco DJ is not holding or any other defect other than CCPT is melting, crew can clear the section from leading loco with the available tractive force at trailing loco. Work from leading loco as follows. If tractive force is available, tractive force means for example if you are going on, say for example on 25th notch, in both the locos GR is on 25th notch. In this condition, if your leading loco DJ is not holding, that is DJ is tripping. So in leading loco DJ is tripped, but at the same condition in trailing loco your GR remains in 25th notch. In that condition, in trailing loco you will have the tractive force. If tractive force is available from trailing loco, don't keep MP on 0. If you keep the MP on 0, immediately trailing loco GR will come to the 0 and you will lose the tractive force. So don't keep MP on 0 if tractive force is available from trailing loco. Then try to clear the block section with the available tractive force or increase the notches if required. That is when you are going with the lesser notches, that is if you are going with the 10th notch or 15th notch, in that condition the same notches will be available in the trailing loco. After that, if you required, you can increase the notches to clear the section. So how to identify that trailing loco's tractive force is available? The first and most important point is you have to ensure the LSGRO lamp. Whenever LSGRO is in extinguished condition in the leading loco, it indicates that your trailing loco GR is not on the 0. So it means that trailing loco GR is on notches. It indicates that some tractive force is available in the trailing loco. You can also observe by observing the trailing loco panto, and also you can observe the expelling air from SL covers. It is very little bit difficult to identify it, even though if you are able to identify the dust whichever is coming from the air locos SL covers in undergear, then by observing that also you can observe that your loco is in live condition. By observing all these things, you can conclude that some tractive force is available in the trailing loco. If tractive force is available in the trailing loco, with the tractive force, first try to clear the section. After clearing section, you should go for the troubleshooting. If tractive force not available from trailing loco, due to any reason, if trailing loco DJ also tripped, in trailing loco also there is no tractive force. In this condition, how to work the train, that is how to clear the section. Then close the both pantococks of leading loco. Whenever you are closing the both pantococks in leading loco, both the pantos will lower. Observe the battery voltage, it should be above 90 volts. Close DJ as per procedure, that is when you are closing the DJ, leading loco DJ also closes, but it will not hold. Trailing loco DJ closes, but it holds. In leading loco, since both pantos are in lower condition, you will experience the tripping, and if you observe the abnormal sign indication, you will observe the no tension, that is UA meter will not deviate, and leading loco DJ remains in open condition, but whereas in trailing loco DJ will close and it holds. In leading loco, since DJ is not closed condition, you will not observe any auxiliary sound, but in trailing loco DJ is in closed condition. Trailing loco DJ is closed, trailing loco Arno will pick up, trailing loco direct motors will start, trailing loco blowers will start, trailing loco if you operate the MPJ reversers will set, trailing loco if you take the notches, in trailing loco notches will come, and you can observe it in leading locos LSGR also. If LSGRO or LSGR is available in leading loco, after taking notch it will extinguish. It indicates that trailing loco GR is moved from 0. It indicates that trailing loco some tractive force is available. With the tractive force you can clear the section. With the tractive force you can clear the section. After clearing section, you have to troubleshoot. While going to clear the section, ensure MR should be above 8 kg per cm square. Since leading loco DJ remains in open condition, leading loco MCPs are not in working, leading loco CHBA will not be in service, hence battery voltage should be ensured and it should be above 90 volts. All loco operations can be done from the leading loco to clear the section. All the electrical commands, whatever you are operating MPR or something, it will all replicate and go back to the trailing loco, and trailing loco same functions will takes place. Since leading loco DJ is in open condition, your MCPs also will not work, but in trailing loco MCPs will work. With that MCPs working, whatever the MR is created will be transferred to the leading loco through MR equalizing pipe, and all the pneumatic operations are done from the leading loco only. After clearing section, inform TLC and troubleshoot. So if you are unable to energize the trailing loco also, that means if you are unable to get the tractive force from trailing loco also, then make the leading loco dead and go to the trailing loco, energize the trailing loco and work from the trailing loco, keeping ALP or LP in the working loco without exceeding the speed 15 kmph. So very carefully, very cautiously you have to clear the section, since your leading loco is not in energized condition. You are working from the trailing loco. So after clearing section, if you are able to work the particular train with a single loco, if load and road permits, inform TLC for remarshalling of the loco. That is, leading loco is dead, it should be kept in trailing position, and the trailing loco is live, it should be kept in leading loco. So marshalling should be done. So shunting has to be performed. After performing shunting, you can work with the single loco. If load and road does not permit, contact TLC. Working the train from leading loco when trailing loco fails. So when compared to previous trouble, this is little bit easy one. Let us see. So in this condition, already trailing loco DJ tripped. You are unable to close the DJ, or the trouble may not be rectified. In such condition, you have to put the BLSN in down condition. In this condition, Panto will lower, DJ already in tripped condition. But leading loco DJ is in closed condition, hence try to clear the section with the leading loco. Even after keeping the BLSN down condition, if leading loco also getting the trouble, or if trouble persists, try to remove the jumper cables between the locos and secure them on clamps. Keep HBA of trailing loco on 0, close IP cock of rear loco, and work with the train from leading loco, single loco only. Put ZLS on 0 in trailing loco and ensure GR is on 0. Don't change any cock position. Clear section and contact TLC. If load and road permits, work onwards with single loco. Otherwise, contact TLC for assistance.